is one of the most popular ways to play Magic the Gathering by far. Whether you love figuring out how to make Thallid Tribal work, or you just love the mechanics of Flashback, there's a deck out there for you. But even with limitless possibilities in deck building, Commander can get pretty similar game to game, especially within established play groups. Thankfully, there are some great variants to add on to Commander to help deliver some variety to your games. From Arch Enemy, where one player is a powered-up supervillain, to the Kingdoms variant, which assigns hidden roles to players in order to keep a 5 to 6 player game rolling, there are many great options. This video will cover what is quite possibly one of the most popular variants for Commander, the Planechase Eternities map. Planechase by itself is already a lot of fun. However, many Magic the Gathering players seem to agree that one of the most exciting ways to spice up your Commander game is to play Planechase Commander by using the Eternities map. By following the Eternities map variant, you'll be able to play both Commander with friends while also experiencing a fun and engaging variant of the game. Planechase Eternities map is a style of play that I feel very strongly every Commander player should try at least once. Now, if you have played Planechase before, but not the Eternities map variant, you'll likely enjoy the reduction of randomness and the dramatic increase of both stability and strategy. This video will teach you everything you need to know to experience this Commander variant. Planechase was originally conceived of as a multiplayer variant of Magic the Gathering that involved the use of planner cards, a special kind of card that cannot be interacted with. The planner cards are supposed to represent the many planes of Magic the Gathering that planeswalkers visit when planeswalking. Each plane has a different effect, and players can traverse between planes on their turns by rolling the planner die. If you don't like the effect in play, try moving to a new plane by rolling the planeswalker symbol. Take care though, if you roll the chaos symbol, you might get more than you bargained for. Originally, Planechase was designed to be played with 60-card decks. Each player would also have a 10-card Planechase deck that was drawn from when switching planes. If you are completely unfamiliar with Planechase and would like a refresher on the basics, you can check out my video, How to Play Planechase, and my video on the Planechase Anthology here and here. The biggest difference between playing regular Planechase and the Commander Eternities map variety is that instead of each player having their own planner deck, a single deck of 40 cards is drawn from to create the Eternities map. This is extra convenient in that only one player needs to curate a 40-card deck, rather than each player needing their own. A Commander game using the Eternities map still functions like any other game of Commander, only with the addition of whatever abilities are present on the active plane. Remember, planner cards are essentially an add-on of extra rules and effects that happen during your typical game of Magic. It's an expansion, and you can use it with the format of your choice, but it works great with Commander. Again, for greater details, you can revisit my original video, but in summation, any abilities on a planner card function while that card is the active plane. The card's static abilities affect the game, its triggered abilities may trigger, and its activated abilities may be activated. Planeswalking from one plane to the next is treated as a triggered ability, meaning it goes on the stack. When a player planeswalks before the new plane becomes active, other players may respond with spells and abilities. To play with the Eternities map, you'll need a communal Planechase deck made up of planner cards only. There are currently 78 planes, and your deck will need at least 40. At the beginning of the game, you'll place 5 cards from the Planechase deck face down in a cross shape. And before players decide on whether to mulligan their opening hands, the center card is flipped over. This is the plane you'll start on, and at this point, everyone gets to decide whether their hand is suitable for this plane. For example, if the starting plane is Aloran Wilds, you might want to keep that 4-drop in your hand that seems good ahead of curve. Your starting land will produce 2 mana, meaning you can drop a Signet on turn 1. After mulligans are settled, the remaining 4 planes are revealed. When a player rolls and hits a planeswalk during a game using the Eternities map, instead of planeswalking randomly, they must choose an adjacent plane to the one the table is currently on. If a player planeswalk to a plane with an unknown plane adjacent, then draw the necessary planes from the deck to connect to the unconnected edges of the plane. So, for example, we can choose to move west from Aloran Wilds to the Academy at Teleria West on Dominaria. Always a good choice. Now, at the beginning of the game, we know Aloran Wilds is east of Dominaria, but we don't know which planes are north, west, and south. So we add these planes and reveal them when we move to Dominaria. Players may planeswalk in any of the 4 main compass directions, and the map essentially functions the same way a board in a board game would. So when we revealed Kessig, Innistrad, Sanctum of Serra, Serra's Realm, and Skybreen, Kaldheim while traveling to Teleria West, we unlocked new routes of travel. From Teleria West, we can move to any of the new planes revealed, or back to Aloran. We may not travel diagonally. In this scenario, as much as the allure of card draw from Teleria West is tempting, it's easy to see a player wanting to move to the Sanctum of Serra in order to trigger a board wipe. There's bound to be a lot of permanence in play after everyone restocking on Teleria West. By keeping the planes in play, players can play out their turns and their cards in a way to anticipate the effects on each plane. What's more, any plane that has cumulative effects like generating counters will keep those counters until it is shuffled back into the planner deck. So Nar Island will keep the flame counters, making it increasingly dangerous to return there. If someone's low on life and needs blockers, they might be tempted to planeswalk to Gold Meadow on Lorwyn. 3/0/1 Goat token blockers for free is a considerable boon. It might also be a boon to you though, so searching out your Skull Clamp or a Sacrifice Outlet in your Orzhov build ahead of time is a strong move. Now, if at any point a plane is more than 3 steps away from the current plane after a planeswalk, it is shuffled into the planner deck. You must check for this each time you planeswalk. This rule represents the chaotic routes in the Blind Eternities shifting, and new routes opening where you'd least expect it. It's also a fantastic way to get away from some of the more punishing planes in the game. Sometimes you'll find yourself stuck on a plane that's really wrecking you, and the idea of moving away from it, only for another player to planeswalk back to it in their turn, isn't worth thinking about. In those occasions, how can you put some distance between you and a plane like Leth Lake Akros? Well, there's one other cool rule which allows you to planeswalk randomly, and it can only be used when a plane in a diagonal space has not been revealed yet. Hell Riding. If you're in a position where your choices of where to planeswalk all look problematic for your board state, and you're stuck between planes like Nar Isle and the aforementioned Leth Lake Akros, you can elect to Hellride. Hellride is the sacrifice of safety and control for pure speed, getting anywhere but here. When a player Hellrides, place a plane from the top of the deck in a free diagonal space adjacent to the current plane, and planeswalk there. As normal for planeswalking, place and reveal any adjacent planes, and check to see if you need to shuffle any back into the deck. This ensures that for a player to get back to the previous plane, they need to planeswalk more than once. Phew! What about Phenomena? You don't have to play with Phenomena cards at all for Eternity's map, but if you would like to incorporate them, there are some popular options. Phenomena are triggered when Hell Riding. A separate Phenomena deck is shuffled and drawn from when a player Hellrides. The effect happens and then Hellriding resolves as normal. Of course, players have also suggested other ways to include the Phenomenon cards, and it's within reason to tweak this aspect of the game to suit your needs. You could, for instance, have it so that phenomena are shuffled into the planner deck as normal, and when planeswalking and a phenomenon is hit, the effect happens. Instead, draw the next planner card and replace the phenomenon when filling in the map. Or perhaps you might experiment with, when planeswalking, roll an additional die to determine the likelihood of a phenomena occurring. If the condition is met, such as rolling a chaos symbol on the planner die, then a phenomenon occurs. And of course, you can just leave them out entirely. Remember, it's your gameplay experience and your playgroup gets to make the rules. There is another way to factor in phenomena cards though, and it's easy. In fact, it'll do all of the calculations for you, and you'll be able to customize how often you want them to happen. Reddit user the Archangel Raziel has provided a free-to-use, open-source application to run the Eternity's Map Planechase variant on. This is fantastic. Now, keep in mind it's completely unofficial, and it is not for profit, and so in many ways this is just a labor of love. If you are interested, over at GitHub you can download their handy application free of charge. I'll of course drop the link in this video's description. Once you're booted up, you'll be met with the start screen. From here you can start a game using the Eternity's map, or you can tinker with some handy settings before you play. The settings list includes, but is not limited to, changing between a standard game using the Eternity's map or a finite mode, where planes stay in play instead of being shuffled in, and hell riding is disabled once the deck is exhausted. Choosing whether counters are reset when leaving planes, or even when the planes are shuffled in. Percentage modifiers to enable phenomena when hell riding and when embarking on a standard planeswalk at an encounter rate of your choosing. The interface is simple and allows the user to zoom in on a plane by clicking it. The rest is fairly self-explanatory, and you shouldn't have too much trouble setting this up to play with. What's more, it's a great way to play with the Eternity's map itself, which saves crucial table space and can even allow you to run it online with friends while playing Webcam Commander. If you've never played Webcam Commander and would like to learn how to do so, how to find people to play with, what software to use, how to get set up, and all the other important details, check out my video on using Spelltable to get some games of Commander using your paper decks, but online with friends. Tips for a great play experience. The first thing I'd advise is that the experience is better without combo decks. In the same way that combo decks can invalidate other Commander subtypes like hidden role games, they can cut short a plane chase experience. In essence, a combo deck, particularly one that can be enabled by one or more of the planner cards, is a deck that is probably unsuited to this board game's style of play. If your deck resolves around an easy-to-use 2-card combo with plenty of tutors and redundancy, you might want to consider picking up something else to play with. But again, your mileage may vary. It doesn't hurt to get one game in with your combo deck and see how it goes. The next thing to keep in mind is the extreme importance on that turn zero discussion with your play group. Even if you're playing with people that you've just met for the first time at a local game store or Magic Fest, don't just sit down and start getting a game. Take a minute to go over what your decks are, what they aim to do, and whether you're aware of specific interactions that might be problematic or unfun with the planner deck. This obviously connects to the previous tip, but communicate with your play group. My next tip is to take advantage of the fact that, of the 78 possible planner cards, you only really need around half of them to play a game of Plane Chase. If you and your playgroup absolutely hate a card, then there's no reason to include it. Play and edit your planner deck as you play with it. In fact, I know some Plane Chase Eternity's map aficionados who are really proud of what they've refined and put together over the years. There's even communities of people who make custom planner cards so that they can experience going to locations within the multiverse that are not yet represented on Plane Chase cards, or yield effects that aren't present. It's a big world out there, or rather, a big multiverse. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. If you'd like to learn about other Commander variants such as Arch Enemy, or just brush up on the basic Plane Chase rules, or check out how to get games of Commander online via webcam, you can check out those videos here, and here, or I don't know where. They're gonna appear somewhere. But if you are a Commander fanatic and you've never once played with the Eternity's Map variant, I cannot recommend it enough. And in that sense, I hope that this video has been of some help to you. You can help me out just by remembering to subscribe, leaving a comment, or sharing this video with a friend. Are there other Commander variants you'd like to see me cover? Let me know in the comments below.